You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu es l'image de Dieu.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu es l'image de l'amour.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu sei la luce di Dio.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu sei il volto dell'amore.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. The face of love. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. The face of love. You are the face of love. The face of love. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. The face of love. You are the face of God. The face of God. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are a part of me. A part of me. You are the face of God. The face of God. You are the face of God.
Eres la luz de Dios.
I hold you in my heart.
Eres la cara del amor.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face
Tu
of
sei la luce di Dio.
You are the face
You
of
are
God.
the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
es
God.
l'image de Dieu.
You are the face
You
of
are the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
sei
God.
la luz de Dios.
You are the face
You
of God.
are the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of God.
ruh خدایی.
You are the face
You
of
are the face of God.
You are the face of
Eres la luz de Dios.
You are the face of You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu es l'image de Dieu.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu es l'image de l'amour.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu sei la luce di Dio.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu sei il volto dell'amore.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love.
The face of love.
I hold you in my heart. You are my family.
You are my family.
You are the face of
love. The face of love.
You are the face of love.
The face of love.
I hold you in my
heart. You in my heart.
You are my family.
You are my family.
You are the face of love.
The face of love.
You are the face of God.
The face of God.
I hold you in my heart.
You in my heart.
You are a part of me.
A part of me.
You are the face of God.
The face of God.
You are the face of God.
Eres la luz de Dios.
I hold you in my heart.
Eres la cara del amor.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face
Tu
of
sei la luce di Dio.
You are the face
You
of
are the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
es
God.
l'image de Dieu.
You are the face
You
of
are the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
sei
God.
la luz de Dios.
You are the face
You
of God.
are the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of God.
es judoí.
You are the face
You
of God.
are the face of God.
You are the face of
Eres la luz de Dios.
You are the face of
Good morning, and welcome to Spiritual Life Center, a church that love is building.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel
mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Let us pray. Dear God, you spoke to us through the prophet Jeremiah, saying, "You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart." We come together to experience a deeper and richer connection with you than we have known. Not only an intellectual experience, but also an experience of the heart that will carry us to new dimensions of spiritual connection. We call you forth to light within us a torch of love and caring and compassion and hope that allows us to reach out to one another, to a world that is hungering for love and support. Toward that end, loving Spirit, we pledge to be your hands and your heart. Thank you, God. Amen.
On the day I was born, said my father, said he, I've an elegant legacy waiting for ye. 'Tis a rhyme for your lips and a song for your heart, to sing whenever the world falls apart. Look, look, look to the rainbow, follow it over the hill and stream. Look, look, look to the rainbow, follow the fellow, follows a dream. 'Twas a sumptuous gift bequeathed to a child. Oh, the lure of that song kept her feet running wild. For you never grow old and you never stand still, with a whippoorwill singing beyond the next hill. Look, look, look to the rainbow, follow it over the hill and stream. Look, look, look to the rainbow, follow the fellow, follows the dream. Follow the fellow, follow the fellow, follow the fellow, follows a dream. So I bundled me hard and I roamed the world free, to the east with the lark, to the west with the sea. And I searched all the world and I scanned all the skies, but I found it at last in God's loving eyes. Yes, I found it at last in God's loving eyes.
This is our time, the time we set aside to partner with our God, our Creator, our mentor, our guide, and our teacher. How often have we asked ourselves the question, what is my purpose? Where is my right place? Why do I hide the real me? Where is my joy? What has happened to my spirit? I really want to be free. These are the questions that are answered each day when I trust in you, God, to show me the way. It is in that precious place in me that I feel your presence, your sweetness, and your power. I come to you now to listen with my spiritual ears, to become more aware of your presence. You are my Creator. You have made me in your image and likeness, a being of light and love. You are my mentor. You have sent your Son to be my way shower, one who has walked through his own darkness and into the light of your wisdom and power. You are my guide and my teacher, who is willing to lead me every step of the way to become the master of my feelings and emotions, and whose joy can overcome and overshadow any challenges that I may have. It is in following you, in trusting you, my God, that I am set free. I invite you to join me now for a moment as we close our eyes and keep our minds and hearts open and responsive to that divine spirit, that Christ love within us all. And we do this now in the silence. If you would just touch your heart for a moment and silently affirm Christ in me, and take a moment to ponder that great truth. Christ alive, growing, guiding, prospering and healing and strengthening me. Not my human ego, but Christ in me is my glory. So for a moment, I invite you to join us as we surrender our personality into the service of the Christ, not to destroy it, but to surrender it into the service of the living Christ Spirit in us. We invite this Christ Spirit to illumine every thought we think, to inspire every word that we speak, to direct every action that we take. We ask the Christ Spirit within us to remind us of the compassionate heart within each one of us, a heart for love alone, a heart in service to the divine in all, a heart so pure that it stands in each of the moments of our lives and merely radiates the truth, Christ in us, the hope of glory. Together we dedicate everything we are and everything this spiritual community does to the presence and power and purpose of the living Christ Spirit. And every day I'm coming to know at greater and greater depth that there is a song in my heart, and that I have music in me, and that music is my life, mine and mine alone. I have a covenant with you, God, and I give thanks. I will live my life the best I can to reflect the joy and the love of God in all things. I will remember who my soul wants me to be, what my soul wants me to do. In my heart is a sacred space where I am safe and secure. Now in my heart I can sing, now I can be anything. I have no limits. I am free. I feel myself being lifted up, for it's a new day. Every day brings an opportunity to be a new me, a free spirit, an opening for the spirit of love to flow through me and out into the world. And I thank you, God. I thank you for every opportunity I'm given to be a blessing. Thank you for the peaceful presence in my world. Thank you for my increased ability to accept what is without asking why. As I continue to live my life for your greater honor and glory. And so it is. And now, if you'll join me as we sing and pray the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. The sun'll come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. Just thinking about tomorrow clears away the cobwebs and the sorrow till there's none. When I'm stuck with a day that's gray and lonely, I just stick up my chin and grin and say, oh, the sun'll come out tomorrow, so you gotta hang on till tomorrow. Come what may, tomorrow, tomorrow, I love ya tomorrow. You're always a day away. When I'm stuck with a day that's gray and lonely, I just stick up my chin and grin and say, oh, the sun'll come out tomorrow, so you gotta hang on till tomorrow. Come what may, tomorrow, tomorrow, I love ya tomorrow. You're always a day away. Tomorrow, tomorrow, I love ya tomorrow. You're always a day away.
Hello, friends. Hi, 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 hi. It's one of my favorite topics today. This is Martha Creek, and the topic today is hope. H-O-P-E. And hope as a way of thinking, not as an emotion. And the little acronym I found in doing the Atlas of the Heart work was H-O-P-E. Hold on, pain ends. Hold on, pain ends. Hope. And Byron Katie, one of my teachers over all these decades, used to say, my favorite thing about pain is it's always on its way out. So that's what we know for sure about pain. So what does hope mean to you? What do you have hope in? I know for years I've had to be very mindful to make sure that my hope was a grounded hope, not a false fantasy-based fairy tale thinking kind of hope. And that's made a big difference in all avenues of my life. So I hope it won't rain on a day it's calling for a 100% chance of rain, for example. And my delusion that I was going to get my way about the rain instead of the rain's going to do what the rain does. So what have you learned already about what is hope and what is not hope? So from the material, we often think that hope is an emotion, a feeling of wanting something to happen. And according to psychologists, it's not true. Hope is actually a commitment to a new way of thinking. And I believe this is what our unity principles are. Not just platitudes, not just affirmations, not just something to espouse and say, but a commitment to a new way of thinking. So that means that in our principles, in the 5th principle is, this will only benefit me to the degree that I apply this, till I live out these truths. God is. I am that I am. I think that way. I pray that way. And I am one with that. And my living that out is where all the power lies. So that means then maybe for me to get more intentional about the goals that I'm setting for myself around how I'm going to keep hope cared for and hope alive. And it includes developing and cultivating a strong sense of self in me, what I'm actually able and capable to do, and admitting my limits of what I'm not able to do or capable to do. We'll also look at 3 categories, which is the personalization of hope and the often mistaken false belief that we are at fault. And I know it's one of my earliest memories as a child that my mother's pain, my mother's sorrow, my mother's anxiety, my mother's anger was my fault. My dad's drinking, my dad's not going to work, my dad's whatever was going on with my dad was somehow my fault. The innocence of a child to think that I was at fault about that. And then the edge of this is that this lesson is that to wake up and really wake up to that not everything that happens is because of me. Just because it happened doesn't mean that I had cause in it. It's not my fault. So yes, I must, and hopefully you, and if you're listening to this, you're likely already wired for this, to take responsibility in our own lives for what we do have responsibility for, and to absolutely be clear that that is very different than blaming ourselves for everything. Blaming myself anytime something goes off the rails, which, being the oldest, I'm not only the oldest in my family, I was the oldest child born to 2 youngest children in their sibling order. So that sets up its own dynamic that then I have a distinct memory of looking around my household when I was 3 years old and had the clear thought, oh my goodness, I'm the oldest one here, when I was 3. So this has been compounding of this. So the personalization of this, and then the pervasiveness of it, the belief that an event is going to affect everything. And then we get triggered. It's like it all goes wrong. Everything's a mess. It's all a lost cause. Everything is awful, 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 awful. So this is our tendency, the pervasiveness to awfulize, even though there's never, ever a time that everything is awful. There's not one situation, even in the depths of our darkness and the depths of our sadness and the depths of our loss or grief, that everything was awful. It's absolutely not true. In reality, not all areas of our life are affected by even a tragedy or a loss or a catastrophe, not in the same way. So little by little, life will be improved. Little by little, and in its own time, life will be brought back to normal and made a lot easier by us concentrating on and focusing on those areas where it's not as awful. And for me, this has been another slippery slope, not to deny those places, not to deny the loss or the tragedy or the grief or the sadness, and to make room for it's both and. There's things that are feeling awful that I could literally call a tragedy right now. And there's other things where that tragedy is not so prevalent. It is not taking over. And then the third P is permanence. So the way we personalize it, the pervasive nature of it, and then the permanence of it, which is what we're believing is going to happen. The belief that sorrow is going to last forever, that our grief will last forever, and it doesn't. Not one time has it ever lasted forever. So then I've got to accept our feelings, inviting you to accept your feelings and to recognize that they will not last forever. So the best part about feelings are they're rising and passing too. So pain rises and passes, and feelings rise and pass also. So hope is a function. It's also a function even in our struggles. So what does hope mean to you? How would you describe hope to someone else? How has hope and cultivating hope, the greatest of these, hope, faith, love, how has it helped you in times of loss and tragedy and adversity? When was the last time you felt hopeful? And how did experiencing that hope help? And I took a trip a few weeks ago, and we were ready at the airport early and all settled in and we're ready to go. It's very exciting. I had my family members with me. It was their first time to take a big trip like this, their first time in California, their first time for international travel, their first time for a cruise. So a lot of excitement. And we boarded and got on the plane. And then they said, there is a screw missing. Now, I was pretty sure they knew that I had a screw loose. But it wasn't my screw loose that was the problem. It was a screw was lost in the door of the plane, and the plane door would not close. So we're not going on that plane. Of course, it's all time sensitive. Getting there early. The ship's going to sail with or without us. And the power of hope and how I was able to hold a place of hope, even with my 7-year-old great niece who was with me. Like, well, we're going to surrender to this. We don't know what life has intended for us. We'll look at other options. If this plane is not going, is there another plane? Will they get it repaired? Will we go out in the morning? Will we pick up the ship in another city besides Los Angeles instead of where we're supposed to embark? So what's possible, cultivating the what might be, what could be, but woven in it was hope. Let's continue to hope that there's going to be something that happens here, that we get on out there. And they didn't know for several hours. And then all of a sudden they said a plane is coming in tonight. So we were on the plane ready to go at 6. And the plane was coming in at 10:30. And the plane coming in from Chicago was going to take all of us out to Los Angeles, California that night. So did hope have a power of some sort? I can tell you it had a power in me. It impacted me, and it impacted the group I was with, for us to cultivate and keep hope alive, even during our surrender of that and not knowing how it was going to turn out. Was we actually going to make it that night or the next day or at all? And that's the nature of life itself. So where could you use a dose of hope? What is something right now in your life that you're facing that you could savor just a hopeful moment of positivity? Some fairy dust of hope sprinkled in on a situation. And how would that shift how you feel about it? So then, if we're going to do this, to make a commitment to this is our way of thinking, and that I then am committed to cultivating moments of hope. Goals that also have goals, actions tied into them, and the fairy dust of hope that's sprinkled in on it too. So thinking about any goals you might have, helps you to create new moments of hope and to absolutely give some attention to that, to fanning the flames of your hope, to cultivating it. And even in our saddest moments, when we want to be held by somebody or feel connected to someone and we don't see it's possible, or in some cases it's not possible, even in those times, not to overlook our sadness, and we certainly don't want to diminish the feeling of that and what we can do to tolerate, though, that feeling, if we're willing to say, I'm going to keep my hope alive in this. That I don't know what's going to be possible. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I absolutely am going to keep my hope alive in it. And particularly in times of grief, in times of loss, and there's so much of it, like literally every day, several calls, usually on a daily basis, with some type of loss, death, dismemberment, disease, diagnosis, separations, losses, family members, and varying forms of loss. And that can be sometimes defined and sometimes a feeling of loss that we can't even define. And then the longing, this longing to be through this longing to fast forward so that we can get out from under that feeling. So in those times, at the center of this grief, the power and the potential in keeping some hope alive in that, so that it doesn't mean that I'm going to have less grief. It doesn't mean I'm not going to feel. It doesn't mean I'm going to suppress or depress or deny or disown the grief and the feelings that I have around that. That I'm also going to say, I'm going to do my darndest to stay connected to myself, to stay connected to my higher power during this time, that I'm going to keep my spiritual practices cared for. I'm going to be very compassionate with myself, with the shape that I'm in and what could I do right now. And I'm also going to make sure that I tend to hope, knowing that whatever is happening now, I'm going to hold on pain ends. And that I give myself this hope, just like I was doing it if it was giving myself a big breath. Like, so hope as air, hope as manna from heaven, hope. And that it's my responsibility. And in this day, as I hear this and as I read this and this book, and if you can join in the classes, they're the 3 Monday nights throughout June, Atlas of the Heart, and see what might be possible for you in looking at some of these new commitments around this. I send you my best hope that you absolutely find new ways to hope, the power of this. And I was thinking about this as I prepared, that it's been so important to me to keep this alive. And as I get calls about somebody that's in a very dire situation, they don't know what they're going to do, they're in loss, they've got the diagnosis, they've got the disease, they've got these things, how important it is to listen with that, and for me to make sure I stay in some balance with that. So when I hear someone say, for example, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do this, Martha, some part of me knows to keep a little space between me and that line of thinking, because what I know for certain, what I know for sure, based on the divine universal law of God's power, presence, light, and love in all situations, and what I know about the human spirit, the resilience, the grit of that, like I often say about some of these ministers that I know and other leaders in our ministry, that the comeback kids And even regardless of what happens, they muster this uncommon stamina to get up, brush themselves off, and to carry on. And it's one of my favorite things about humans, this resilience, this grit. And I absolutely believe that it's got fabrics of hope woven into it. And any event then, or what would be called or seen and perceived and felt even as a negative thought pattern that would cause us to fall into hopelessness, that we admit, then we accept that there'll be moments of hopelessness, moments when I feel despair, moments when I feel uneasy, moments when I doubt, moments when I'm bewildered. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't think I can. And just this, to let some of that have its space, and to know that this sense of hopelessness is going to pass too, that hopelessness will end. Hold on, hopelessness ends too. Just like hold on, the pain of hopelessness will end too. So that then, even while I'm having despair or loneliness, hopelessness, powerlessness, anguish, whatever the feelings are that are more tense, more stressful, more upsetting to us, that would cause me to lose my breath, or I even feel like it's in my bones and blood sometimes, that we feel like we may crumble, that we've had the rug pulled out from under us, things like that, that we even feel like we've been taken to the ground in some of these cases. That even in these situations, we can choose again and temporarily reroute that anguish by adding doses of hope in it. What have I done in the past? How have I gotten through times like this in the past? How have I seen other people deal with similar situations like this? And even for me, when I can't do anything else, I can get busy, and one of my friends used to say, oh, you got to put your hands to God. I've got to get busy to work my way through it until I can find another way to say, I've got to be with this differently. So take a big, deep breath. Life is uncertain. We'll feel like it's too much at times. And we're here about opening our heart even further than it's ever been opened. And even in times where we feel like we've been wronged, or we're in anger or self-righteousness, or feeling disconnected, powerless, to bear in mind that hope is medicine. Hope is an antidote for some of this. And the places we go when we're hurting can be eased and made a little bit easier by giving ourselves a deep breath of air, of hope, even and especially in the discomforts. So change is possible. It is a way of thinking, not an emotion. And I'm recommitting today to cultivate a hope practice, a hope spiritual practice, and to keep in mind that it is not personal. Whatever's happening is not personal. It is not my fault. I'm not the cause of these things. I'll take responsibility for my part. It's also not pervasive like the mind would make it up to be. There's not one time that everything is awful, awful, awful all at the same time. So this little by little to find ways that is better, not as awful, and to give some equal attention and balance to that, and to know that there is absolutely no permanence to this, that there's no sorrow that will last forever, at least to the degree that we may feel it in the moment. Blessings, friends. All blessings to you. MarthaCreek.com to contact me. I'll see you along the way. Love to you.
place I used to own. Let's go. I used to roll the dice, feel the fear in my enemy's eyes, listen as the crowd would sing. And now that your king is dead, long live the king. One minute I held the key, next the walls fall on me, and I discover that my castle stands upon pillars of salt, pillars of sand. I hear Jerusalem bells ringing, Roman cavalry choirs are singing. Be my mirror, my soul, my shield, my missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason I can't explain, I don't think Peter will call my name, never in all this world. That was when I ruled the world. Was the wicked and wild wind blew down the doors to let me in. Shadowed windows and the sound of drums, well, people couldn't believe what I'd become. Revolutionary's way for my head on a silver plate. I'm just a puppet on a lonely string. Yeah, who would ever wanna be king? Let's go. I hear Jerusalem bells ringing, Roman cavalry choirs singing. Be my mirror, my soul, my shield, my missionaries in the foreign field. For some reason I can't explain, I know St. Peter will call my name, never in all this world, but that was when I ruled the world. Can you sing something with me? All you gotta do is follow my good friend Justin over here. We're gonna get this going. Here we go. Let's go. Whoa, whoa. Thank you so much.
We are grateful for this beautiful music by our own Tom Butwin. This song is one of my favorites. And Nancy Ingalls, thank you for your marvelous singing this morning. Reverend Martha, your message inspires us. We are pleased that each of you could join us for today's service. We invite you now to join in our prayer of sharing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And we would be so grateful if you would support Spiritual Life Center with a donation to this ministry. There are 4 ways to do so. The first is online through our secure website, www.slctroy.com/give. A second way is mail a check to Spiritual Life Center, 41340 Fox Run Road, number 106, Novi, Michigan, 48377. A third way is call my cell, 248-925-6214, and speak directly with me, providing credit card information for a one-time charge. A fourth way is to go to your Friday email that you receive each week, and in there you will see in a couple places, donate online or donate here. We would be so grateful if you would follow up on that. We welcome anyone who is joining us for one of your first times, and we invite you to join our email list by visiting our website, www.slctroy.com, and in the upper right corner, you'll see Join Email List. If you would just click on that, insert your name and email address, we will see that you receive each Friday morning early the weekly email in which we provide the link for the upcoming Sunday service, as well as the link for any classes that are available. We invite you to send any prayer requests to ronaldfscott@gmail.com, and we will forward these on to our prayer team of more than 30 powerful praying members of the church who are delighted to support you and your loved ones. We also forward these to Silent Unity at Unity Village, where they are prayed over for the next 30 days. You may also call Silent Unity yourself 24/7 and speak directly with a prayer chaplain. Their number is 1-800-NOW-PRAY. Next Sunday, I will provide a Father's Day message that actually applies to all persons. Reverend Martha's 3-week class began last Monday and continues tomorrow evening, June 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It is a terrific class, and you can participate in the class tomorrow by entering the link that was in your email this past Friday. Be sure you've circled the date of Saturday, July 22nd for the fabulous picnic coming up at the lakeside home of Lyle and Denise Tyler, just east of Milford. More details to come in the next few weeks. Immediately following the end of today's service, everyone is invited to join us on Zoom for a time of social connection. The link was in your Friday email. But first, let's join together in our peace song and benediction. God bless.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let
And now as you go forth, know that the light of God surrounds you, the love of God enfolds you.
The Lord bless thee and keep thee.
The power of God protects you.
The Lord make his face to shine upon thee, and be gracious unto thee.
The presence of God watches over you.
The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee, and grant thee peace.
Wherever you are, God is.
Amen. Amen.
Go your way rejoicing. All is truly well.